Quantic Media.
Alright fellas, I'm pretty new here, so I'll start off by telling you my name. My name's Boo, and this game is a grid domination 6v6, and this is what I believe to be my best game ever, or I'd prefer to call it my most favourite game. And the weapon I'm using is not one you see too often, so if you're not familiar with it, I'll tell you, it's a submachine gun. It's the classified submachine gun, and it's called a Kiparis, or a Kiparis. I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce it. And this gun, like I said, is the classified one. It's the last one you unlock, so you'd think, last one, it's got to be the best, right? Well, quite frankly, no. It certainly isn't much to be excited about, considering it's the last unlock. I certainly don't think it's the best SMG. And more often than not, when you pick it and you go into a game with it, you'll likely find yourself getting outgunned by a lot of assault rifles. So why would you want to use a Kiparis? If you don't know me, which most of you understandably won't, I should probably warn you that I like to dabble about with everything. I like a bit of variety, and I like to choose guns dependent on how they look and how they sound, and if I think they're cool guns. To me, the PM63 is a fucking cool gun. The Stakeout is a fucking cool gun. The Stoner 63, another cool gun. Okay, they look nasty, they sound nasty, they play nasty. They might not win every gunfight for you, but they feel good to shoot. The Kiparis, on that note, I don't think it looks particularly good. I like the way it sounds, but one thing I like about it in particular is, well, it's only something I recently remembered, and that's, I totally forgot that you can have emblems on the backs of guns, and the Kiparis is one of the best guns for sporting an emblem. And if there's one thing that's stopping these guns from looking amazing, apart from gold camo or anything like that, it's something like this, like personalizing it with a great emblem on the back. And I decided, what could make it seem more like my gun than just putting my name on the back? So I thought I'd slap, there you can see my name Boo written on the back. Nice and black and nice contrast to the gold. It looks good, it's personalized, it feels like it's my gun. When people pick it up, they're gonna know whose fucking gun they picked up. And that's one of the things I like about the Kiparis. Another gun that looks great sporting an emblem on the back is PM63, that's one of my favourites. The Scorpion looks good. Pretty much any submachine gun, because it's kind of planted right on the back, and it's very, very bold and clear. Gameplay wise, what can it do for you in an actual gunfight, whereas the important stuff you might say? Well, to be honest, the stats suggest that it's almost exactly the same gun as the PM63, pretty much a carbon copy. But to me, the rate of fire is different. It says it's exactly the same, 937 rounds a minute, it's the same as most of the other guns, it's the same as the FAMAS and the AUG, but to me, in my head, it feels a little more slow than the PM63. It feels much more manageable, and I feel much more in control when I'm shooting it. I don't know, it's all in my head at the end of the day. Damage-wise, it's capable of 3-shot kill, as long as you're hitting at least one headshot in its closest range, but at distance, which is where most of your gunfights are going to be, inevitably, it's going to take you 5 shots to kill. And that's quite a tough ask. I mean, with the Kiparis, it's very unlikely you're going to land 5 clean shots before he hits you straight back with his assault rifle. So, with submachine guns, I often like to carry some sort of long-range secondary, which is usually a crossbow, because they're just fucking cool. And, you know, you could opt for the RPG, you could go for the Law, you could try the China Lake. Small problem. RPGs just seem to get hit marks for me. I don't really like the Law too much either, and the China Lake is way too slow. To be honest, all the launchers are just a complete no for me. The crossbow, to me, it just seems to work better for me. It's more consistent, it seems to be more powerful, it seems to confirm the kill more often, and it's rock and roll. Simple as that. Now, I suppose I could talk about my favourite kill streaks for a while. Counter Spy Plane, Napalm Strike, Blackbird. The Napalm Strike, to me, is the best kill streak in the whole game. And there's a lot of people who disagree with that and say that the Blackbird is the best kill streak in the game. I'm not going to argue that the Blackbird is fucking brilliant, and, you know, perfect reconnaissance, red arrows for, I don't know how long it is, about 45 seconds? I don't know. The Napalm Strike, to me, though, is the best. The reason I think it's the best is because it's a 5-kill streak. Now, such a little ask for such a huge reward is what makes it good. Fuck the airstrike. The napalm burning on the ground for, what is it? It feels like it's over 10 seconds. A good 15 seconds or something that fire's burning for. Preventing people from walking through. Let's say we're 2 flags down and I need B, I can call the napalm strike over wherever they're spawning and cover all the entry points, say now that huge gate if they were spawning at sea. I could call it all the way from the sea flag all the way down to the other end of the field, and it would cover the gateway that lets them through. And it's kind of like having extra teammates who will just completely prevent them from getting through without Flak Jacket Pro. It's that good, and it's such good value as well for a 5 kill streak. It lets you do shit with the objective that you might not be able to pull off yourself. That's why it's so good. Counter spy plane. Well, actually, let me go back a few steps. I don't use spy plane anymore, and the reason is because Ghost is such a popular perk in this game that spy plane gets me killed more often than it gets me kills. To be honest, I think it's a lot better to whack on counter spy plane and take all their radar away from them. And you're better off using your own intuition to work out where they are, rather than use your radar and then get fooled by it because of a guy using Ghost, or multiple guys using Ghost, as the case may be in some games. But with counter spy, what it does is let you take advantage of players who are not so bright, shall we say. It lets you take advantage of those who don't have great awareness. The truth is, in this game, in the public lobbies, a lot of the casual players, the weekend warriors, they won't be so intuitive, or they won't use headsets or things like that to try and determine all the stuff that's going on around them. And the radar is more often than not their only tool that they'll use, and when they see the red dot from someone shooting, they'll just go to it. And when I call in a counter UAV and I take away their only tool, like, I could get behind 3 guys. Like, I could shoot one in the back, I could shoot the second guy in the back, and then I could reload and I could shoot the third guy in the back without him even turning round. That's what it does, it just lets you take advantage of people who are just not that sharp. But I think I've said enough about the gameplay now, but I feel like I've got to make this disclaimer every time I post something like a suggestion, a good score or anything like that. I feel like I have to point out, I know that these guys I'm playing are not great. Honestly, if you're seeing anyone put up big scores, a large portion of that will be down to the other team simply not being that competent. And it's the truth, because Call of Duty is not a hard game. I'm not trying to suggest any kind of skill by, putting this kind of score up. Honestly, I don't even care about score, I don't care about KD. Just play the game and enjoy the game. That's what it's for at the end of the day. A lot of people will play Call of Duty because it's a fun game and it's easy to pick up. You can get a lot of casuals in this, and I've never seen any reason to bring up any topic of skill or, describing someone as a beast, because at the end of the day, this is just here to be played for fun. That's what it's for. That's what we all play it for, right? Surely. And that's exactly what I like to do. I like to jump into public games with some less than competent guns to try and even it out a bit, and I just shoot people. I mean, there's better things to care about than your KD ratio and the numbers on the board and all that. Sure, then having good numbers on the board is a nice bonus, but just make sure you're enjoying yourself, for Christ's sake. And that's why I believe this game to be my favourite game of all time. It's because, I've had better score than this, I've had better KDs, I've had higher kill streaks, all that. I've had better flag caps and defense, whatever, all better than this game. This game was my favourite though. Why? Because it was bloody good fun. But anyway, there is one last thing I can say about gameplay. With this Kiparis, I'm using Warlord with it. I've got extended mags with the grip. Now, you don't need sleight of hand on this Kiparis in my opinion, because it's got a pretty decent reload time, and the extended mags will take it up to 30. I think you're much better off warlording it with a grip. That's my personal opinion. Plus, I like having lots and lots of grenades to throw about. That's just the way I am. Scavenger, Warlord and Tac Mask Pro. Best perks in the game, in my humble opinion. Other people are different, but that's my preferred setup. That's the setup I would suggest if you want to play aggressively like this. Just go out and have fun. So that's about it from me. This video is of course going up here on Quantic Media, and if any of you guys here like Call of Duty stuff, you like variety gameplay with different guns, or you like my commentary for whatever reason, then my channel's linked below, and I upload gameplay like this every couple of days or so. So if that's something you're interested in, then happy days, I'm glad to be of service. This game's pretty much over, but either way, game's coming to a close. This is what I believe to be my favourite game ever. Now when I bring up the numbers on the board, like I say, I don't care for the numbers much, but even I was pretty surprised by them. And I'm going to jump out the window here, we're losing C. So my surprise, this nade hits the guy on the flag and injures another guy who falls to his death. Not bad. Not bad at all, especially by the Kiparis standards. Not a spectacular gun, but certainly a fun one to run around with. I will give it that. And the board, as promised, for what they're worth, those are the numbers. So I hope you enjoyed the game, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.